first thing, how new coaches go high ticket immediately without concrete results. One of the biggest issues, I guess the biggest issues, the biggest problems that clients come to me with is the idea of that feeling of imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome meaning, am I supposed to be here? Should I, am I even qualified to teach what I'm qualified to teach? And even people who are commenting on several of my ads or several comments that are coming in on my ads, the question is, do I need a certification? What certification do I need? Like, basically, the underlying question to that is, who can I get permission from? Who do I get permission from? And so what I want to do for you is I want to share with you a story about when I first discovered that I could give myself my own permission. I was at a conference, and I remember I was sitting in a session with a brand agent, right? And so she was doing a session about how to get media placements, how to position yourself, and how to be that go-to person that the press will reach out to. And so she said, do you look at all of these people? And she was like, and she started showing pictures of her clients. And she said, how many of these people have PhDs? And we estimate, she was like, is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? And so we were trying to figure that out. And she said, okay, great. Thanks for answering. And then she said, how many of these people have press hits, meaning that they're getting asked to be interviewed and be in the news? And she was like, is it 1? Is it 2? She was like, all of them. And she said, the number one problem that I come across when I start working with newbies, essentially, who want to become a brand and who want to be seen as an expert, she said, is they're all waiting for someone to give them permission to be the expert that they already are. And she said, I'm not discounting what they know. All of them have years of experience in their chosen field. They have years of experience, and they're confident in their message and their story, but none of them have what other people would consider you need before you're an expert, like a PhD, or like you have to have done a TED Talk and all these things. And she said, nobody is going to knight you. No one is going to give you permission. You have to give yourself permission. And when I heard that, I was just like, wow. Like that was the message that I needed, that LaTisha from 9+ years ago now, that was the message that I needed at that point. So at that moment, I was like, okay, great. Well, I am a millennial personal finance expert because I had been constantly talking about millennials on my blog. I was constantly writing about personal finance, and I chose to give myself the title of millennial personal finance expert. Now, I was a little bit concerned still when I first gave myself that title, but I started reaching out to the press, and I started reaching out to newspapers and journalists. And when they asked how I wanted to be quoted, I said, put LaTisha Styles, millennial personal finance expert. And they said, okay, great. And I was like, oh, okay. And as soon as I gave myself permission, that's when I really started embodying that. And then I was like, okay, great. If I'm going to call myself a millennial personal finance expert, what do I need to continue doing so that I can stay on top of the information in my industry? And so I started doing more research. I created this entire document of stats. Like if somebody came to me and asked me about the student loan debt number, I already knew that off the top of my head. And so because I gave myself permission, I started taking the actions that I needed in order to truly embody that. But it didn't come until I gave myself permission. So that's the first thing that I want to give to you today, is that no one else is going to knight you as a high ticket coach. You have to give yourself permission. You have experience, you have life experience. You may or may not have coaching certifications. Like, coaching is not a regulated industry. You don't need a certification in order to be a coach. So A certification can help you with your coaching skills, and it can definitely help you to be more confident in helping a client get a transformation. But if you're waiting for alphabet soup, or if you're waiting for letters or someone to like give you permission, then you're not taking and embodying that energy of that high ticket coach. So that's the first thing that I want to give to you today, is I want to give you permission that you can give yourself permission. So even if you're a new coach, this is how new coaches go high ticket immediately. They choose that their transformation is worth more. It's worth what it's worth. When you can help someone solve the problem in their marriage, or solve problems in their home, or with their health, or whatever it is, that's worth it. Everything that I've been doing over the past 9+ months in order to reach this like essentially pinnacle, like this week is called peak week in our industry, to reach this pinnacle where I really look the best I have ever looked, I spent a lot of money. I spent a lot on coaches. My expenses for this entire show, everything is close to like $7,000, and probably more if I were to actually put in all my supplements and all that stuff. So like that transformation of me being able to drop 30 pounds over 9 months, I desired it enough that I was willing to spend a lot of money on it. I was willing to go high ticket for that. You're welcome, Divine. Carwana says, that's what I'm looking for, media coverage. Okay, quick tip on that, since we did go ahead and chat about that. Go to help a reporter out. Just Google help a reporter out, and you'll be in a good spot. That's how I got all of my media. Well, that's how I started getting media coverage. And then from there, I started making connections with the journalists who first reached out to me, and I just continued to get coverage from there. So like my first hit in Forbes was someone that I connected with via help a reporter. And then after that, I just kept up with her on Twitter, and I kept like retweeting her stuff. And so I was always top of mind for her. And whenever she needed someone to talk about millennial stuff, and she didn't always quote me as a millennial personal finance expert. Sometimes she said millennial blogger, but it didn't really matter, because I could say I've been quoted in Forbes. And that's really all people care about. And that's all I really cared about, was being able to say I've been quoted in Forbes multiple times. Okay, perfect. Will says, yes, give yourself the permission to be what you believe you can become. Absolutely. And so I'm glad you said that, Will, because that's really the key, is if you don't give yourself permission to be what you believe you can become, first you have to believe you can become it, right? That's like the first thing. Like, do you truly believe that you have the potential? If you do, and the only way that I'll give you an easy way to know if you have the potential. If you want to do it, you have the potential. Everybody doesn't want to do everything. So for some people, they have zero desire to play the piano on stage at whatever a famous place might be. And because like I have zero desire to do that. And that means that I don't have the potential, because I have zero desire to do that. But once it's been shown to you, and once that's a desire that you have, that means that it's something that is it's in the ether, it's in the atmosphere for you, and it's available for you, and you can go after it, and you can achieve it. And I truly believe that. Now, here's why I want to share with you why everything you know about proof is wrong, and the only thing your ideal client cares about. The next issue that a lot of new coaches run into is that they say, well, I don't have testimonials, or I don't have, all of these things that people are looking for. Like, they want testimonials. They want me to be quoted in Forbes. Like, they're expecting to see me here, there, and I don't have any of that. And the truth is that your clients, the people who want to work with you, they don't really care about that proof. The only thing that anybody cares about is themselves. So I want you to remember this word, WIFM. Okay? If you don't know it already, WIFM. What's in it for me? WIFM. That's it. That's all people really care about. So even as a new coach, when someone comes to you, the only thing they're thinking about is, what am I going to get out of this relationship? What am I going to achieve as a result of working with her? I remember there was a coach who started out like super brand new several years ago, right around when I started my coaching business. And she came straight out the gate charging $20,000 for her year-long coaching package. And I remember at that time, like, I didn't believe in myself enough to charge a high ticket rate. I was charging like $800. And I remember thinking, like, what gives her the audacity to charge $20,000 for a coaching package? And, you know, since then she's generated millions of dollars in her business. But what I realized was that she came into the game with a belief that she could achieve and that she would be able to do what she wanted, what she chose. She believed in what she could become, and she took actions towards that. And it took me a little bit longer because I had a lot of subconscious beliefs that I had to personally work through. Things from like life experiences and things that I needed to work through in order to really get to that point where I was like, okay, great. You know, I'm charging, you know, $10,000 for a coaching package. And the thing that your ideal client cares about truly is, can you help them get that transformation? That's really it. So when she came out the gate charging $20,000 for her coaching offers, because she knew that she could help her ideal client get the transformation. She had been doing like digital marketing for herself, and she was like, oh, here's what I've been doing for myself. Let me help you do it for your business. And she started out just like that. And it was like, you've just got to be really confident in that transformation that you offer. Like, can you help a client get results or not? And I remember I was talking with a potential client on a clarity call a couple days ago, and she was like, well, I'm brand new, so how do I charge that much? Because pricing is like one of the number one things that we tend to talk about on these clarity calls. It's like the consistent thing. And so I said, well, tell me about your experience. Like what even qualifies you to do what you're doing? I kind of posed the question as a, like, I dare you to, you know, to prove me wrong. And she was like, well, I've been through all of this. I've been through this. I've been through that. And by the time she finished, she was like, wow, I don't know if I realized it before, but I have a lot of experience. And I said, yeah, you do. And she said, it's starting to make me feel like the initial pricing that I had is low. And I said, yeah, it's low. Yeah, Will says, when you mentioned choosing to go high ticket, it made me think about how it's the sandbox you want to play in. Go to the part of the playground that you want to play in. Exactly. And the great thing about creating a high ticket package or becoming a high ticket coach is that it actually helps your lower ticket offers sell better. Because what happens is your clients will aspire to work with you at that high ticket level, but many of them will not be able to, or they don't have that belief in themselves yet. And so what are they going to do? Well, they're going to want to work with you at almost any level that they can. And so what they'll do is they'll actually sign up for one of your lower ticket offers. And so it's like a cycle that renews itself. Okay. Karwana says, I just raised my rates from 2K to 5K. It was a mental block I had to overcome, but I know the transformation I help people get is well worth more than 20,000. Exactly. So I stand comfortable in that now. Yeah. It has been a long time coming. Like, so here's we're going to move into the reframing your money beliefs, but let me tell you a little story since you did mention that, Karwana. When I started working with clients and I bumped my rates up to $5,000, I started attracting a different type of client. And when I started working with that client, they were getting results that were just blew me away. It was like in 2 weeks, they were making 10K in 2 weeks, 18K in 2 weeks, 95K in 12 months, 15,500 in a month. And I was like, wait a minute, like I'm over here charging $5,000 and you guys are like taking over the world. So at that point I was like, okay, well, I know I need to raise my rates again. And I did. I bumped them up to $10,000. And at this point, I think my lowest entry package is $12,000 for a coaching program with me. And it's like when you believe in yourself and you start raising your rates, and it's not just money. Like I want it because I work with coaches who also do lifestyle design. And so I'll give you a little story about that because that's not a money offer, right? Lifestyle design is like, what do you want your life to be? It's not, hey, I'm going to promise you if you work with me, you're going to earn, thousands of dollars. And so that client that I was working with, I asked her, I was like, do you truly believe that lifestyle design can help someone to like be less stressed, enjoy their life? Like what are the other ramifications of them getting help with you? And she was like, well, I know for me, like I had anxiety, I had this, I had that. And she kind of ran down the list. And I was like, okay, let's think about how much that costs from a mental health standpoint. Like, what does it cost in terms of their relationships? And we started really running down the true cost of having that problem. And then I asked her, okay, do you think that your coaching offer is cheap or expensive? She was like, it's really cheap now in comparison to all of this. And it's true. You just have to be clear on the transformation. Nice. So for those of you who are seeing Caruana's comments, where she said one of her clients landed a $70,000 a month contract. I hope you got that on a success call. You should definitely watch her story on the YouTube channel. If you just go to Client Success Calls, where we had a chance to chat about her experience working with me and really getting the help to get clear on her message, her offer, and the systems to help her bring clients. And she's just killing it now. So if you're curious, you're like, who's the real person that this has happened for? Then just go to the Success Calls playlist, okay? Okay, so we're about 30 minutes in, so I need to keep moving through. The next thing I want to talk about is how reframing your own money beliefs allows you to connect with high ticket clients on a deeper level. The story that I told you a little bit earlier, where I was like, there's this new coach and she started charging $20K out the gate. The reason that I couldn't do that at that point was that I had money beliefs that I had to reframe. I'll give you the quick and dirty rundown of my story. I graduated from college into the Great Recession. It took me 11 months to find a job. In that time, my self-esteem was beat down. My just like I felt, I really, my self-worth was taking a hit because I sent out application after application and I was not getting any responses. And I was just really like, I got to the point where I was delivering sandwiches for a local sub shop. And I realized, I made a declaration and I was like, I will never allow this to happen to me again. Like I will learn whatever I've got to do, I will figure out a way to be able to make money in any economy, no matter what. There are always people who are making money, no matter the economic situation. And I'm going to be one of those people. And I remember that as I started my coaching business and I was working with clients, I had to reframe my own money beliefs because what happened was I started getting clients results that I hadn't gotten for myself yet. And I remember when I was working with that client and she generated $18K in 2 weeks, I was like, well, I've never made $18,000 in 2 weeks. Like, what is it about me? What's wrong with me? Like, what do I have that's not working for me? And if you're feeling the same way, if you're like, well, I know what to do, or I've been there before, or I created a high ticket package and I just can't sell it, then I want to share with you the secret that I learned, which is you likely have subconscious blocks and beliefs and even money beliefs, deep rooted money beliefs that are holding you back. I did a lot of work on this all of 2018, much of 2019, and I continue to work on my money mindset. And it's something that helped me tremendously. It helped me to reach, my goal where like in the first 6 months of this year, I've already generated everything that we did last year. And so this year will easily be well beyond my wildest dreams. But I still have a much bigger goal. But what happens is when you're able to reframe your own money beliefs, meaning you have to first identify those beliefs. So it's whatever that first thought is. So if I say to you, double your rates, whatever that first thought is, pay attention to what that first thought is. What is that first thought? What is that first doubt? Write it down. Don't do anything with it yet. Just write it down. If I say to you, charge $10,000 over the phone via credit card on the very first phone call without follow-up? What is that first thought that comes up? What's the first doubt? What's that first fear? Write that down. If I say to you, charge $100,000 for a year-long coaching package, what's that first thought? That's something that I'm working on right now. And so I had a thought that, wow, like the first thing that comes up, that's your subconscious money belief that you have to work on. So if that first thought is something like, well, where are the people? Then that is actually there's actually a belief that's underneath that, which is I'm not able to find them. And even if I were, they wouldn't work with me. And then there's something a little bit deeper inside of there, which is I'm not worthy of charging that much. So typically the underlying beliefs underneath those first thoughts, and it's different for everyone. So it's hard to really give you examples, because even if your first thought is the same as somebody else's, there might be a slightly different underlying belief, and it's based on your personal experience, your upbringing, your background, all of that. So that's a lot of what I work with clients on when we first start working together in like my higher ticket programs. We get into those subconscious beliefs, those doubts, those fears, and all of that. So a lot of what's underlying all of that is I'm not worthy. I haven't done enough. I am not enough. There's a lot that's underneath that. And once you can connect and reframe your own money beliefs, then it will allow you to connect with your high ticket clients on a deeper level. Why? Your high ticket clients are not looking for more worksheets or spreadsheets or, videos or member areas or any of that. It actually requires more work I just created a brand new product that had a $12 price point. It took me 3 days to create it all. It was recording the videos, editing the videos, which I did myself because I didn't want to wait on my editor, creating a workbook and putting all of that together and putting it out there. And sales came in, but it was $12, $12. I'm like, okay, great. But when I create a high ticket offer, it's when it sells and that offer and that payment comes through of several $1,000s, it's oh, this only took me the thought of this is what I'm going to do inside of this offer and the conversation, and that's it. So when you understand that your high ticket client is interested in becoming someone, they either want to become an athlete and therefore they want to install the beliefs that allow them to operate at that higher level. They want to become wealthy and therefore they want to install those beliefs that allow them to manage their money on a different level. They want to become married or in a relationship or lovable, and therefore they want to install those beliefs that provide them with that self-worth. And so it's different from your clients who will purchase a course or a lower ticket offer who are more so looking for information. And there's a time and a place for all of it. So I'm not saying that is anything better or worse. I'm simply saying that when you understand that your process of reframing your money beliefs allows you to connect with your high ticket clients on a deeper level, because they want the same thing. They want to reframe their beliefs. It might not be money beliefs, but they want to reframe their beliefs as well. And so you being able to do that for yourself allows you to connect with your high ticket clients at a deeper level. Okay. Hey, Angelia. Oh, cool. Glad that you were able to join us, even for a little bit. So I want to share with you I talked about how to spot money beliefs, but I want to do that just a little bit more, and then how to choose and install new beliefs instantly. So how do you spot a money belief? Now, this is a practice that I do on an ongoing basis, and I even do it with my husband sometimes, which creates some very interesting conversations, to say the least. So sometimes I put on my coach hat with him. And what I do as I'm going about my day, whatever I'm doing, whatever it is, anytime I think, I'm always constantly evaluating a negative thought of I can't do it, it wouldn't work, it might not happen, Who am I to do that? I would have to do this. Like any of those things that say that I can't be, do, and have whatever the frick I want. Any of those things, I pay attention to those. And I might not write them down because I'm not really a big journaler, but I do journal every now and then. But usually what I'll do is I just start ruminating on that thought and thinking about like, what is it that makes me think that that's true? Why do I think that I wouldn't be able to charge $100,000 for a year-long coaching offer? Like, what is it? Like, really, like, what is that? What's that doubt that I have? And so I'll go through my first doubt, which is, I'll just be very transparent with you, which is, what can I offer someone that's worth $100,000, right? So that, honestly, like, that was my very first thought when I was introduced to the idea of creating a $100,000 coaching package. And so from there, I started working through that thought of what can I offer of value. And I started to think about the transformations that I've helped clients achieve. I now have 2 clients who have gone on to generate millions of dollars after working with me. And when I put it in that context, I'm like, oh, that's like 10% of what you would make in a year. That's like nothing. It's insignificant. And after working with me, you don't just keep what you've learned for 1 year. You can do it over and over and over and over again. And within 10 years, that's just 1%. Like, then I started to get like a little frustrated because I was like, well, maybe I should be charging more. And so that's how I work through a belief like that. And that's also how I install a new belief instantly. The next thing that I do when you choose to believe something new, so my new choice was I can charge $100,000 for a coaching package, and I do have the value to provide for someone that's worth $100,000. Then the next thing that I do is I take action in that direction. So if you truly believe something, you'll take action towards that direction. So for example, if you believe you can become a high ticket coach, you will take action in the direction of that. If you truly believe that you can get abs, like I was talking about at the start of this training, you will take action in the direction of that. If you don't take action, you're telling yourself subconsciously that you don't actually believe it. So you have to take action. Action is necessary in order to install instantly your new belief. So the next thing that I did was I wrote up my sales page for my $100,000 coaching offer. And I'll read, I've got it right here. I'm not going to read it. I'll read a couple sentences where I say, you have big goals, but sometimes it feels like everything you want seems just out of reach. And as much as you stretch to get it, it just seems to move further and further away. Today is the day you draw a line in the sand. It's time to raise your vibration, time to attract exactly what you want in every area of your life. It's time to become attractive. That's my 100K offer. And as you can see, I'm smiling. Like, I'm really excited about that because I know that the person who chooses to work with me at that level is not only going to achieve what they want in their business, but they're going to achieve what they want in all areas of their life, whether it's their health, relationships. Like, it's a holistic program. It's not just let me help you earn more in your business. So I'm really, really excited about that. Hi, Cheryl. Carwana says, after working with you, I recently made 100K in 4 months. I'm growing so much. I love hearing that. The reason that I'm not going to read the entire thing, Rochelle, is because I'm actually working with a copywriter in just a couple days to clean it up and make sure that it's everything that I want it to be. So I'm not ready to debut it live yet. But I did give you guys a little taste. I hope that's good enough. All right. So the final thing I want to share is why you're not in the same room with high ticket clients and how to get there ASAP. So if you're just joining us, I am talking about how to position as a high ticket coach. Okay, so that is the link. The short link is just latisha.tv/BHTC, become high ticket coach. I just typed that while I was talking at the same time. There are 2 levels. There's a VIP level and then there's a regular level. The regular level will get you all of the bonuses, the live training along with the recordings. The VIP level will also get you a 20-minute call with me where we will go through your specific subconscious blocks. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk through your branding and your pricing. And I'm going to provide for you not only what your pricing should be. I'm really good at rooting out like your aligned pricing, but also what you need to do. You need to do specifically to realign yourself to that price, and then how to, what changes you need to make for your branding. So it's going to be much more specific. I will have a Q&A. So if you don't do the VIP offer, I will have a Q&A. But the best part of the VIP offer is getting your own subconscious blocks shifted and having those exercises so you can install new beliefs. I will say that has been the biggest thing for me, has been being able to work directly with a mentor to look at my own subconscious blocks. All right, so let's go into the final piece of today's training, which is, let me go back to my notes. Why you're not in the same room with high ticket clients and how to get there ASAP. Okay. I'm not even going to gloss over this or try to like take it slow or anything. You're not in the same room with high ticket clients because you're not a high ticket client. So let me explain what that means. When there's a reason, that business owners, people who are trying to network will spend thousands of dollars for a plate of steak that probably costs only $100 to make. It's not because they really want that steak, right? It's because they want to be at the table with potential connections, people that they might be able to connect with on a personal level, at a business level. There's also a reason that business owners fly first class, and it's not just to like have the awesome treatment like I get on Delta. I love it. But it's so that they can have conversations and make connections with other people who are flying first class. In general, if someone is seated at a table where they spent $10,000 on a plate or $1,000 on a plate or whatever it is, or sitting in, a long distance first class flight, which might have cost several $1,000s as well, it's likely that they are achieving something in their life, or their parents achieved something. But hey, who cares? You can connect with their parents too, right? So that's the idea behind becoming a high ticket client, so that you can be in the same room with high ticket clients. Many of my top clients actually came from programs that I was enrolled in, where I was in the Facebook group and I happened to connect with people. Now, there's nothing like sleazy about it where you're actually trying to like get clients out of the program, but what's going to happen is as you're going through that course and that program, you're going to be sharing stuff. You're going to be chatting with people. You're going to be connecting. Like at my retreat where clients connect with each other, they often come away from their retreat doing business together. And obviously, since they're my clients, they're not doing low rates, right? So they're often working with each other at that high ticket level. And it's because they all spent a good bit to be in the same room at the retreat. And there's a reason that they're doing that, not only for themselves, but for the connections that they can make. So if you're like, well, I need to know where high ticket clients are, they're probably already in your like, what is that, 6 degrees of separation? They're probably already in that field for you, but you might not have really made that connection by being in the right rooms, having the right conversations with the right people, understanding, number one, how to speak about what you do and what you offer with confidence. So you're not like, this meek person, like, oh yeah, I charge high ticket rates. Like you really have to be confident, assume the throne, step into your, step into your higher self. So it's probably that you're just not in the right rooms. How do you do that? Get into a mastermind, get connected with someone who has network connections. And I think I said this on the last training, where a lot of times the mentors that I choose is not always based on what I expect to get out of our mentorship. Sometimes it's based on the other people that I want to connect with and I want to have in my circle. Simple as that. That's just how I do it. So pay attention to who are you connected with now, and how can you connect with other people who are playing at a higher level? They're usually going to be in the higher level masterminds. They're going to be at the VIP level of, programs and courses that are offered, especially if it's a like a longer term mastermind or a longer term course. They're usually going to be at that high ticket level. So look for that, and that's going to help you to start making connections, because your high ticket clients are likely going to come as a result of a referral. You can have systems, yes, that will bring high ticket clients to you, but in general, those people who sign up are likely have already binged on your content, so you're referring them over. But if they just met you, they're likely going to have met you through someone else. And that's the key, is start widening your circle so that your 6 degrees of separation is less and less and less and less. All right, well, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you. I will not be live next weekend. Once again, I will be on stage. So join me on Instagram at LaTisha Styles TV so that you can watch my entire show day experience. But then we'll be back again the Saturday after next. Okay? The retreat news is still coming. We're still working through all this COVID stuff, so we'll see what that looks like. My retreat is normally in February, and I typically open the doors in October. So I feel like it's July now. I still have a couple of months to see if if I want to open the doors in October, and if so, I will definitely let you guys know. Okay. Alrighty. Have a great day. Bye.